The NYXL was in the middle of a roller coaster. The addition of star DPS player NYXL to the lineup had an immediate effect with a comfortable 3-0 victory off of the Seoul Dynasty. Coming into this week, they had suffered a 3-2 loss to the resurgent Hangzhou Spark and were looking for a bounce-back win against the London Spitfire. The Spitfire were coming off of a win themselves, with a comfortable 3-0 victory over the Chengdu Hunters. As the match began, the Spitfire were more than able to hold their own, pushing the XL all the way on the first control map before full holding them on Rialto to even the series. After another close-fought win for the XL on Hollywood, it came to Volskaya for the XL to close out the map. So with the XL looking to sew up the series, we take a look at how a smart setup and a stellar rotation allowed them to clear the path for an easy first point take. How did the NYXL's nifty strategy and positioning push out the Spitfire's defense? That's what we'll find out on this episode of Behind the Akshon. Attacking Volskaya's first point has always been a case of finding the best path to the point. The main choke on Volskaya's first point demands that teams make a choice when entering. On the left side of the choke point, teams can transition through to the room on the left onto the high ground overlooking the point with the option to use the catwalk to flank and gain access to the high ground on the opposite side. If teams push through the right side, they flank all the way through and try to fight and claim the large health room in front of the point, or claim the right side high ground overlooking the point. For the Spitfire, their defense is all about keeping the NYXL in front. By stationing Glister on the flank, they have a scout in position to see if NYXL's Tracer will attempt to go behind them, while the rest of the Spitfire provide damage from afar as the NYXL rotate in through the choke point. This is all good from the Spitfire, right up until the point that the NYXL aren't running a Tracer, but a Symmetra. This Symmetra is a smart adjustment, as it allows the NYXL to use Symmetra's teleport ability to move 5 members of the team to the platform on the left side. This allows the NYXL to completely bypass the choke point and immediately gain the high ground above the point, without taking any poke damage from the Spitfire during their rotation through the choke. What this move also does is it forces the entire Spitfire squad to completely adjust their positioning to account for the fact that the NYXL are right on the high ground above them. Following this, Sabiolbi goes back to spawn to swap from Symmetra to Tracer before rejoining the rest of his team on the flank. As soon as the NYXL emerges from the room above the point, the Spitfire begins immediately burning through Mano's placed shield. This forces the NYXL to retreat back into cover of the building while Hotba proceeds along the sidewalk to the Spitfire side of the point. As Hotba advances, he is met at the top of the stairs by Bernard, who forces Hotba to not advance any further and instead continue to poke down Bernard's shield from the flank. The NYXL are able to get a Discord Orb onto Bernard, which forces him to retreat back down to the stairs and into the relatively safe confines of the large health pack room. At this point, 2 distinct battles begin to be played out. The first is between the 2 Orissas on the point. Both are using nearby cover and their shields to step out into the corner of the point to either attempt to get some capture progress or to contest said progress. In this case, Mano starts to step onto the point in order to force JMac out of his cover and onto the point where the XL are potentially hoping to burn through his shield and health pool before he can duck back behind cover. Meanwhile, both Glister and Sabiolbi have started to flank to provide pressure onto the other team's back line. Back onto the objective, Mano and JMac have been trading out their shields on the point, with both being forced into cover at various times. Due to a combination of Mano taking an excessive amount of damage and Glister pressuring them off of the platform, the 2 NYXL supports drop down to join the main tank on the point. Mano meanwhile has looked to take an aggressive position as he lines himself up directly opposite JMac at an angle which denies the majority of the Spitfire a clear firing line. Alongside this, it also removes JMac's current place of cover, and forces him to make a decision to either rotate away from his team and isolate himself, or rotate back towards the large health pack room and put himself at a risk as he crosses the firing line that Mano has set up. As Mano makes this move, Bernard attempts to push Hotba back from the upper platform and gains a perfect flanking angle onto Mano and the rest of the NYXL down below. The NYXL are quick to respond to this flank attempt, and Mano immediately flips the script onto Bernard's aggression by landing an inch-perfect halt that pulls Bernard off of the high ground and right in front of the rest of the NYXL. This forces Bernard to burn his kinetic grasp in order to not get overwhelmed by the damage. This halt by Mano also allows Hotba to continue his advance onto the high ground and allows him to quickly take a position at the top of the staircase, to start doing damage onto the Spitfire's backline. While this is happening, Glister attempts to drop down onto the NYXL from above, but Nene catches him and lands a headshot to give the NYXL the man advantage, but with London still firmly entrenched in the large health pack room. Unfortunately, this advantage is short-lived, as Krillin is able to find Sabiolbi on the flank. Now that both Tracers are gone, the fight purely turns into trench warfare. It is at this point that Hailey uses his amplification matrix at the entrance to the large health pack room, which allows Bernard to thread the needle and land 2 hyperspheres onto Jonak, which eliminates him immediately. While London do have the man advantage, they are completely unaware that Hotba has firmly managed to complete his flank on top of the stairs, where he promptly lands an accretion onto Hailey before Nene lands the final blow through Animo's amplification matrix. This death sends the Spitfire into a death spiral, as without any way to push out of that corner and contest Hotba, they are going to get slowly whittled down. JMac uses this time to push the side door in an attempt to pressure Mano and Animo from the flank. But before he can get any purchase, a timely halt by Mano and a perfectly thrown dynamite by Nene allow for the NYXL to burn through the rest of the Spitfire and capture the first point. This push was all about the NYXL's tanks. Hotba and Mano's aggression in particular are to be commended. Hotba looked to constantly push the staircase leading down to the large health pack room and provide a firing angle onto the London's flank. This aggression is matched by his tank partner, with Mano taking more and more aggressive positions with his shield placement. First to force JMac into a poke battle onto the point and then try to remove JMac's cover by repositioning, Mano in particular deserves a great deal of credit for his first two halts that first removed Bernard from the high ground and denied him both a chance to get in the damage on the NYXL's backline and to stop Hotba from advancing any further. Once Mano gives Hotba this opening, he uses it to perfectly collapse onto the Spitfire's backline, and force them into the corner, which once the NYXL have burned down Bernard's shield, allows for Mano to land the final crucial halt that wipes out the Spitfire, and clears the way for an easy first point take by the NYXL, on the way to taking the map and closing out another successful series.
And NYXL taking this point in all likelihood. Glister is around, nearly has a pulse bomb, but again, it's just only so much that he can do by himself, and he himself is already retreating.